Russia claims it has taken full control of the eastern Ukrainian city of Avdiivka, hours after Kiev said that it has pulled out of the former stronghold to save soldiers' lives. This comes as the war closes to its two-year mark on February 24th, when Moscow announced a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin hailed his army's capture of the eastern Ukrainian town of Avdiivka as an important victory. The capture of the town marks the most significant territorial gains for Russia's forces since the seizure of Bakhmut last May. Russia's defense ministry too confirmed that Russian forces took complete control of the city.
Units of the center group of troops under the command of Colonel General Andrei Mordvichev took full control of the city of Avdiivka, of the Donetsk People's Republic, which was a powerful defensive hub of the Ukrainian armed forces. As a result of offensive actions, an area of about 32 square kilometers was liberated from Ukrainian nationalists.
This map of Ukraine shows the changes in Russian territorial control during nearly 2 years of the war. The Russian operations or advances are indicated in orange. Kiev had earlier announced its withdrawal from the town, which it said that was taken to reduce military casualties at a time of stretched resources. Ukraine's 3rd Assault Brigade released footage showing the movement of servicemen under fire in Avdiivka.
Вам Стаглин дали? Да.
Moscow is back on the offensive in eastern Ukraine, with Kiev suffering from a shortage of ammunition and manpower. Russian rocket fire killed at least 2 people in the eastern city of Kramatorsk. Meanwhile, addressing the gathering of politicians, diplomats and military officials from around the world at the Munich Security Conference, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urged allies to plug an artificial shortage of weapons that is giving Russian forces the upper hand on the battlefield. He added that the stalled U.S. aid was imperative. President Joe Biden, on the other hand, has assured that he is confident that the Congress will renew war aid.
I spoke with Zelensky this afternoon to let him know that I was confident we're going to get that money to keep that country from being overrun by Russia. You know, there's so much at stake. I learned, I watched the television the other night, and one of the other Republican candidates saying, I've never explained to the American people why NATO is so important. NATO is critical to our survival.
Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba, who also attended the Munich Security Conference, said that he had discussed the prospects for peace with his Chinese counterpart, Wang Yi. This was also a part of a long-running bid to bolster relations with Beijing. Kuleba said that he had discussed Ukraine's plans to hold a global peace summit, which Switzerland has agreed to help stage. Now we are being joined by Kurt Walker. He is a former U.S. ambassador to NATO and former U.S. special representative for Ukraine negotiations from the Munich Security Council meet. Welcome to WION, Mr. Walker. My first question to you, the Ukrainian city of Avdiivka has been captured by Russia. How do you see this changing the war here on?
Avdiivka was kind of in a pocket that was protruding into an area that Russia already occupied. It kind of evens out the front line right now. Of course, it's a tragedy for the people that live there. I happen to have visited Avdiivka about 7 years ago, went to a school, saw some apartment buildings, met with the local government. And it's a tragedy for everyone who has lived there that this city is now also completely destroyed and occupied by Russia. But it doesn't change the course of the war.
Right. Mr. Walker, the Russian president says that he had no objections to Ukraine getting a NATO membership and would be ready for a ceasefire in the present status of territorial control. How do you see this war ending?
So far, President Putin hasn't been serious about ending the war. They've continued to attack. They continue to have claims on parts of Ukrainian territory that they don't control. They continue to want to topple the government in Kyiv in favor of something that is pro-Russian. So we haven't seen a sincere intent from Russia yet to end the war. But if there is such a sincere intent and a willingness to withdraw forces, then I think it could be possible to negotiate a solution. At this stage, however, I just don't see Russia ready to do that.
Thank you so much for joining us here on WION, Mr. Walker.